Using text files. A file is a storage medium that retains data even when the program is not running. The stored data can be accessed and used during program execution. In this topic, we're going to learn how to access data from a text file. A text file has a .txt extension and typically looks something like this. A file can be linked to a program using the file and scanner classes. Before you can use the file and scanner classes, you need to import them at the beginning of your Java program. For file handling, we have java.io.file. For exception handling, in case the file can't be opened, we have java.io.ioException. And finally, to read the file contents, we have the scanner class. Create your class and main method. Then, to connect a file to your program, create a file object and provide the file name or path as an argument. Shown here. File, my file, equals new file. Then in parentheses, we have the file name with .txt. That's our text file. This is going to create a file object using the file name as the argument here. Make sure the file is in the same folder as your Java program. That way you can just use the file's name. Otherwise, you would have to include the full path in your computer storage to the file. The scanner class allows us to read the contents of a file. To do this, pass the file object as an argument to the scanner constructor. So scanner equals new scanner, my file. So this is the my file variable that we just created. There are several scanner methods and constructors, including what they do and when they are used, which are part of the Java Quick Reference. Below are some you may already be familiar with and are needed for the AP test. Scanner FileF is the scanner constructor that accepts a file for reading. Int next int returns the next int read from the file or input source if available. If the next int does not exist or is out of range, it will result in an input mismatch exception. Double next double returns the next double read from the file or input source. If the next double does not exist, it will result in an input mismatch exception. Boolean next Boolean returns the next Boolean value read from the file or input source. If the next Boolean does not exist, it will also result in an input mismatch exception. String next line returns the next line of text as a string read from the file or input source. It returns the empty string if called immediately after another scanner method that is reading from the file or input source. String next returns the next string read from the file or input source. Boolean has next returns true if there is a next item to read in the file or input source, returns false otherwise. And void close closes the scanner. Accepting input from the keyboard is actually outside the scope of the AP Computer Science A course and exam. Then we can use a while loop to read the file. Scanner reads the file line by line, printing each line as it goes. So here we have a while loop. Has next line, it's going to print out that line and then loop through the whole file. Scanner has next line is a Boolean that returns true if there is another line to read. So this loop will only run as long as there is another line. It will return false if scanner has reached the end of the file and then the loop will break. When working with the file class, you must specify how to handle situations where the specified file cannot be opened. One approach is to include throws IO exception in the method header that interacts with the file. If the file name is incorrect or the file is inaccessible, the program will just stop running. Just scroll back up and add throws IO exception to the header of the method as shown here. So we have our public static void main method, throws IO exception, then our opening curly brace. A file should be closed when the program is finished using it. The close method from scanner is called to close the file, like this. Here is the full class that's going to be able to read a file.